today's reading is going to be a different kind of reading. I'm going to intentionally slow things down. A lot of my readings I go through quite quickly, and I want to be mindful and slow everything right down to a crawl. I woke up at 3 a.m. like wide awake, and if you know me, you know I'm not a morning person. I'm not even a late night person if I'm sleeping beforehand. So I woke up like boom, and of course there was a transmission going through already. So this is basically, if you've been guided to click and listen, this is specifically for you. Basically gonna come in here, I got a ton of decks in front of me, but we're not gonna focus on so much the pictures and the visuals. They want to focus on, state of mind here, just on the voice, the words, and the intention. And one, I'm being used as a tool to deliver a message that, from your guides to my guides to me, are basically saying, we know you feel confused. We know you feel like you may not be doing the right thing. This is all being transmitted through to me empathetically in order to get back to you to realize that this is not, unheard of. This feeling this way is normal for where we are sitting energetically. They also want to give you the reassurance that we're not doing anything wrong at this time, is the sense that I'm getting. And to just keep forging forward. We have learned a lot. We are processing a lot. We are so afraid to make a mistake that we're not relaxing anymore. This is kind of a predominant energy in my field as well. You may not be interpreting anything at this time energetically. You're going, that is okay. It is part of the process. It's almost like a stall point in order to digest. And then once we've digested and integrated, then we move forward. And that time has not yet come, is the sense. So a lot of this is going to be in podcast format. And I am basically channeling the energy. Now, I'm going to express here, a lot of that word can mean different things to different people, including me. I channel a lot of information through my readings. I'm not the type of channeler that changes my speech patterns or voice or whatnot, though there are a lot of verbiage, like words that come through that are not mine to use in my character normally, but I will transmit them because it's what I'm getting or hearing. But I use my same voice. I'm not the type that can completely step aside and let them take over. Just don't feel comfortable doing that. So that's how I channel information. And this is one of the more, they're going strict channeling transmissions that I will put out. And the purpose here is to connect with those that are feeling confused, a little dazed at this time, like not knowing where to go, what to do, and at the same time feeling like we can make a huge mistake. And though there are portals for that at this time, we will not be able to go in these directions without truly knowing from our gut instinct that we are doing something wrong. It is only those that are disconnected from this that will truly fall off of their path, which is very hard at this time. It's so for those that are in fear of that, fear no more is kind of what they're saying. So again, I've got a lot of cards here. I'm going to start with a color card, and we're going to end with a planetary card, because it takes everything back out. As we zoom in to life, we can back ourselves back out by becoming removed to just the planet alone, right? To bring us back out of things. So I'm going to bring in a color card, and we'll just start with that and see how things go here. Yeah, pink is coming up. Let love in. Yeah. I think at this time, the sense that I'm getting, we have a tulip here, and the visual is the stem, the green stem, and the bottom part of the tulip. The bowl, if you will, right? So the sense they're giving me is, what do we put things in the bowl. And if we're talking about love, is being able to accept love and give love. This is kind of the theme here. May have some people so preoccupied with the spiritual side of things. And again, there's good and bad points to this, is obsessive energies, right? Whenever we overexpand our, whenever we overflow something to a degree that it's unhealthy, not in balance, it's not ideal, right? So if if you're in a relationship, you give lovingly but you're not getting, that's an over exposure, is what I call it, of that energy. So there's a need or a want or an uncomfort there to want to balance that back out. And that's where we feel that awe, like the awe, like, oh yeah, that's better, right? If it's not coming in equal balance, it feels uncomfortable. Just the number they have attached here is 4. And again, I have my own language and numbers here that they communicate. And the sense that I'm getting is we need to know what we want in love and what we don't want in love. And letting love in for some is very hard to do, is the sense that they're giving me. And this is something that we have to fine-tune our abilities for. Number 1, we need to know what we want in a partner. And again, I'm getting hints here as to be very specific in this, not just I want a man or a woman. What is it that you truly cherish? Like, honesty, integrity, these kinds of things. Be as specific as you can, because then they can. And I've done this in the past where I thought I was being very specific. You ask for things, and then you get all those things that you asked for, but there's other things that you didn't ask for that are there, that are uncompromising. You can't deal with, so it doesn't work. So this is kind of what they're saying for those that are in this way, okay? And pink too, I feel, or what they've communicated to me, and again, I work with Metatron and other guides as they come in, like, it's not like that's my only dude up there. It really depends on who I'm working with and the energies that surround them as to who comes in and helps, that kind of thing. But having pink as the first energy that comes forward, one, we're talking about love, because it's talking about letting love in. So those that may be listening to this may have a hard time letting love in, or letting the appropriate love in, is what they're saying. We've maybe built up a space here in our lifetime where we've let love in so easily that we didn't think about what was appropriate or not appropriate until we were so fed up with things the way that they were, that we, things start to destruct, and it becomes a scene of chaos rather than one of workable energy. And I mean, just because I'm transmitting this message doesn't mean that I'm above it either. Because a lot of times these messages that come through, I'm referring back to them to help guide me as well. So just to let you know that. So yeah, letting love in. That's our first card with color here. I'm going to get into numerology here since that's what I'm being led. We're starting with the number 4 on the color card. But now I'm going to go to my numerology cards here and see what they come up with. I've pre-shuffled, but I'm going to shuffle again here just to freshen the energy up to date. So pink, letting love in, and I feel like that's block for most people I'm connecting with here. If you're guided to listen to this, this is a block. We are not allowing love to come in because of the experiences of the past. So that speaks to unhealing energy, not being able to heal from our past mishaps in this way to a degree that when something of worth comes in, we're unable to not only not only recognize it, but to be able to accept it and get it in. Okay, so the next numerology card here, we'll see where we go. 67, talking about physical activity. So right away we got a purple, pink and purple. And again, pink is connected, in my field, is connected to a higher heart. So a lot of you may be working on, or the universal energies are working on you to gain a higher heart capacity. And for some, there's resistance high here. Now, as we move into the purple and blue colors coming from the physical activity, the blue speaks to speech, period. Talking, vocals, exactly what I'm doing now, exactly. So receive and transmit from our vocal abilities. There's a sense of no communication. 6 and 6 is 12, plus 1 is 13, and 3 plus 1 is 4. So we're back to the same number. And when I have 1 4 alone, it means no. When I have 2 4s, it means you're surrounded to help you realize what it is that you're in resistance of. And for some, this is the validation point as to what this is exactly. So, having to clear my throat quite extensively here. Someone is just refusing to communicate, to talk about their feelings, about how they feel. It could be in regards to love, or it could just be in a way unknowingly affecting our love sector. So in other words, non-deliberate, subliminal, or how would I put it, like unintentional. Yeah. Now, physical activity is the title on the card here. And though I'm getting a lot of speech and communication, there's a sense of physical activity being paramount here to someone's way forward. I don't know if there's a need for physical certain activity, or this is paramount in our life as to what we are focusing on and paying attention to, this kind of thing. But somehow this is connected to the love area. It all stems from the love area is what they're saying. It all comes from love. And ultimately, universally, it's all about the love, really. So we're going to move forward into the next deck here. And just keep pulling cards and see what I get. Okay. The next card speaks to celebrating life. And we have, the number there is 43. So that brings us to a 7, which is kind of, when I get 7s, it's a pinnacle card. It's like high excitement, high energy, great, wonderful things. And celebration would go along with that, what they've put here energetically. And the verbiage they have here is, I celebrate every day by honoring and respecting all life on Mother Earth. So there's a sense of communing, and they've got a lot of animals in this picture here. It's a woman opening her arms to the earth, the water. There's the symbol of a frog. There's a wolf. There's a hummingbird. There's a leopard. And there's also an eagle. And in amongst the scenery here with the rocks and the earth. So give me a moment here, because I feel like we need to be more grounded in, and they were giving me the energy when I woke up. Well, for those that may be listening that feel ungrounded, we need to become more grounded in where we're at. And I know that I've been working the last while on being very, very grounded in my 3D earth. I am very much away from all that I'm connecting to at this point. And they were congratulating me for that earlier, because this is what we need to be more coherent, more balanced, right? Because I tend to want to just be everywhere that I'm not, or, and that's the thing too with energy, being in the now. And I think it was Eckhart Tolle, is the power of now or something like this. Not really understanding that frequency when it first came across my plate. The power of now, and I'm like, be in the moment, but really energetically be in the moment. So that means not rushing to get home to do things in the future, not worrying about things in the past, being extremely energetically in the moment. And though I have a great great struggle with that, because I'm always thinking about my future. I'm always planning forward. And I think that's part of my Aquarius part of me. But really what we have to do is be completely in the now and be at peace in the now. And if we're not at peace, we need to find that peace. And that may be just absorbing the moment. Some people may have physical, because they're going back to this physical activity card. They may have physical things going on in their life right now that can create peace, but their mind is going to unrest and unpeace and everything of chaos. So they're wanting to point that out so that, one, we see it and we want to fix it. We want to balance that. Because the sense here is that the mind is cluttered, but our physical universe may not be so cluttered if we just spend a moment, a checkpoint, if you will. And they were talking to me, they're going, some of these people are passing checkpoints. And I remember them saying that to me a while back, going, we passed a checkpoint here, there's no going back. So we learned something that will prevent us from going into old ways ever again. And there's always something that does that. Like, I don't know, like I always go back to my school analogies, because everybody's been through it, right? Mostly everyone. Where You pass kindergarten, you learn your ABCs. You've learned them, you've integrated them, you move forward. You go 2, 3, you're learning words and whatnot. So you really don't have to go back and relearn your ABCs because you've got them. It's integrated. You're moving forward. Now you're learning sentences. This is kind of what I'm getting on a spiritual level. There's things here, lessons we may have learned, ways we may have been that, if for some didn't serve us. Ultimately, that's what it is. If it does not serve you, it does not stay, And there's ways or habitual ways that we were running things that were not serving us. So coming across these checkpoints, as they call it, is really opening a door where we leave the baggage outside the door and we continue forward. Not having to be weighed down by all of that stuff because it's no longer serving. It's no longer useful. We've evolved through it. So I'm getting that highly here to a degree that some people here are really realizing that there is a lot of heaviness in the mind that they released or are in the process of releasing that is lifting them because they realized they didn't need to take it any further. And this, in part, is going to help them ground into their reality more because there's more to look forward to. It's lighter energy. It's not as heavy. And we can get this in a weekly cycle. You can have a bad day where you carry a negative energy field and your agreement to carry it all day. Like, if you stub your toe on the corner of the bedpost when you wake up, you can set your mind to go, this is it. Like, it's going to be one of those days. And then you create that. I mean, we all know that, right? And then we agree to carry that weight all day. But we can release it and go, oh, that hurt. And I'm not, and we don't even have to pay it no mind. We just keep going forward. We tend to wound if we have it. And then we move forward in an agreement that this is not going to define my whole day. So it's kind of like this on a larger scale. So I feel like a lot of these people here that are connected to the voice that I'm bringing are really in realization that life can be a lot lighter than I've been living it, right? And I like this feeling of the lightness of being. And I want to go forward in this center. This is kind of what I'm getting. And not only that, it gives us a greater appreciation of things outside of ourselves. Because all that weight was really distracting us from seeing the beauty, right? When we decide to take on a negative field, and I've had instances just recently where I had to vent. I was like, oh, sorry, I'm venting, but because it's a constant battle. You come up across people that will want to infringe upon your peace, if you will, that you have created for yourself, right? Some people test you in order to try to get you out of it, and they will succeed. And you may have a bad day until you decide that you're going to succeed in your peace and stay where you are. And there's certain habitual ways, or there's another word, like habits that we've built for ourselves that we gotta work ourselves out of. And there's also, again, being in your present moment that can really pull you from a lot. Because if we're thinking about our future, about what can happen in our future, we're kind of pre-stressing ourselves for things that may not ever come through, may not ever manifest, but we're also setting an energy field for something that, is in a negative way. And then we can think of our past and carry that into our future, present and future. And that's weight as well, that just extra weight we don't need. So celebrating life in a different way from here forward is really what I get from this card. And I also get like Metatron, he's about he can carry the field of geometry, and geometry is kind of, when you get down to the nitty-gritty, it's kind of the web of life that is underplaying everything. It underplays nature, it underplays animals, humans, earth, rocks, everything. There's some kind of geometry that connects all things, and it's some places it's seen very highly in plants. To me, I see it very highly in plants. And some other places, like in Earth, you don't see it as prominently, but it is still there. There's a background, there's an underlying vibration that connects all of life. And I feel like this person or people that I'm connecting with, they're just starting to realize that connection, not only, from inside myself looking outward, but outward connecting all other things outside of myself as being part of the whole, which is something you really truly need, I think, to find your purpose in life, period. I think you need to feel that interconnectedness on that level. Okay. Just trying to decide here where next to go. I think I'm going to go into my animal cards because we're getting an introduction. Each card introduces me to a new. First card introduced me to the numerology card. Second card introduced me to speech. And now I'm introducing to animals. So we're going to see what the animals have to say. They're highly connected in the animal way. When I hermit, I go outside of people and turn to animals a lot for, I don't know if I'd say guidance, but in a sense that's what it is. It's like I just turn to them because they're really just little souls in there evolving in their own field as we are. And for some reason I find it easier. Maybe it's because they don't talk. They don't have to. A lot of them don't have to. They can just be what they want to be, right? There's their purpose is in being, right? And that's something that humans are, I think, since we're born, we're kind of almost brainwashed against. That makes sense. Okay, here we go. So, the animal card we get is the red fox. Yeah. Because foxes, right? They're sly, they're slick. And a lot of times they see things we don't. And they chase things that, for fun, for play. Not necessarily because they're hungry or, I mean, they will, but you know what I'm saying? The word they give here is strategy. And the color red is highlighted in this card. The number's 3. 3 is highly a card of spiritual connection, I attribute anyway. Yeah, and in the card we have a little girl with fox ears holding an umbrella, and on top of her head is an opening in the sky where this fox is looking upward. And I feel like the initial energy that I got was foxes are wily little things. They can manipulate, and they can They can bring things askew to a degree that it throws things other people off. But they're just in play mode. They have a simplistic mindset that it's like, I want to excite my area and I don't care what is going on around me. And to a certain degree, that's good because they're focusing on making themselves happy. But they can be, they can create, I don't know if it's, because I'm saying they can create chaos, and they're going, not necessarily chaos, but they can bring about trickster energies, right? When you say trickster, it's kind of doesn't have the weight of chaos, right? Chaos is heavy. It creates, tragic. But they're going, it can create confusion, right? And in the beginning of this transmission, this is what we're wanting to validate, is the fact that a lot of people at this time are confused, not only of their life path and things around them, like the universe, which is it is meant to confuse. So part and parcel, those on the wrong side, they've completed their mission because they have confused. But there's space for this. The universe has made space for this confusion. Why? Because in order to to rise, to grow, to learn, a certain point your mind has to get to the place where there's the known and the unknown. And we're at a place where this is being figured out. Okay, so what do we want to do with our life? I know what I know what I'm good at, I know where my focus is, I know this, but maybe the opportunities are the unknown. I don't know where I want to go or how I want to expel that into the universe. That's the confusion. So what they're trying to say is this space of confusion is here to help you learn how to manifest more opportunity in the future. So if we haven't got that opportunity yet, we will get past this pause, if you will, and get into a more solid, definitive answer here. But the energies aren't right for it. That's why we're not having it. But it's such a long period of time that we're getting frustrated. And I, for one, I can attest to that. I understand this. I was in my field, I'm just taking action on things that are presented to me. And I'm not going out of my scope in a way as to push any energy outward, or I'm saying resist. There is a lot I am resisting, but it is because it does not serve me. So that may be something I need to clear up more in my field. I'm not sure. But as I move back to the red fox here, trickster energies, we all understand that. Just look in the media. It's one big trick. And again, not fully, because I'm getting from the fox that they're not fully aware, right? That's why they cause these tricks, because they don't truly understand the damage they can do. And even though they can do substantial, it's not to the point of chaos, because we are evolving and we are seeing through veils and illusions and truths, and we're listening more highly to our instinct. So in a sense, the special transmission here is that, yes, we're validating the fact that you feel lost and confused, but treasure this moment, because in the future it will be more definitive and it won't be a waste of energy to invest in the moment. Because if we're feeling like we should be somewhere, should be like we're not in the right spot or we're not doing the right thing, they're saying invest in your moment. Don't think about the future and don't think about the past. Do in the moment, in the now. This is how to get out of that lost, inappropriate feeling that we may be feeling. Okay. And the red fox is simply, I feel like the external energies that may be creating a sense of panic, or, like I need to do this, but I'm not. Your internal compass, what they're telling me, is not going to waver. We're going to feel strong and stable in a certain way, and not to let anyone take us off of that. So that inner peace, if you can get there, that's half the battle. Because once you stabilize that, there's nothing that can take you off of it. And I think anybody within earshot of this is really on the path where they've stabilized themselves to a degree that we can't falter from that. We can't go back from that. That's that checkpoint. It's like, no, we've created our stability and we're going forward. So this is highly the message here. I'm just deciding what deck to go from. I'm going to continue with the animals here. So if this makes sense to you, it's an uncomfortable feeling, like we should be somewhere that we're not. And they're going, this is, though deliberate, won't be much longer period of time before we're released from that and moved and be able to move somewhere that we're more engaged, more engaged with, more proactive, meaning, oh yes, I know exactly, more decisive. Yeah, now I feel the time is right, or now I feel like I need to go here, or that feels right for me. It'll be more a clicking of the puzzle piece rather than trying to force an issue. That's what I'm getting here. Okay. So we get the Hermit card, as I was talking about that earlier. Yeah, and that's really about going internally into your internal world, which is really that connection to your gut, that connection to spirituality, religion, if you will. Connection is something bigger than the self. In order to come outward with the answers, and ultimately that's the goal. It's for everyone to follow their own compass to a degree that they gain self peace of mind, and then they can go outward and connect in the same manner to others. This is what, and I know I'm one of those people that even though I have a strong gut and high guidance, you still kind of go outward for validation, and that's just something that I don't know in my lifetime if I'll get rid of that to a certain degree, but I think what they're giving me is it would be ideal if we could just go by our own inner compass. And there may be people like that. I don't know if I've met them. Well, to a certain degree, those are the ones that kind of stand out from the crowd. They're the way makers. They're the ones that do no matter what everybody else is doing. And to a certain degree, I have an integrated part of that, but not to the degree that I can live without some form of validation. I think that's my skepticism, partially, period within the field, because no matter how much I blow people's minds or things happen that you can't explain, even myself, it's hard to explain. I just know that before it was this and after it's changed, and you were a part of that, and that was it. And sometimes you can obsess about that, and other times you just let it go because you and yourself don't truly understand it, but you accept it to be true. Now, think back to the card here. We have orange as the color, orange and green. And I feel like the green background brings about, again, going into the heart center to come outward with, again, ultimately it's about being compassionate, right? I have had situations in this past week where I've been tested, my compassion level. And I'm not doing so well, I know this, because I'm frustrated. It's obviously a trigger point for me. So I'm needing to learn, right? So I'm taking things in stride, but at the same time, going forth to gain guidance. And then what do? I come here and I connect with that energy to spit something out. Again, just because I'm transmitting this doesn't mean that I'm above the message. I really go back on a lot of these messages and rehash them, and I'm guided to do so as well. They'll say, go back and look at the whatever reading, go back and look at this reading, and then it will be highly pertinent at the time to what either I'm struggling with or going through, or making me understand something in a different way than when I read the words outward. So we come from the red fox, which is chaotic energy, and we go to the hermit, which in this card here they signify with a rhinoceros. And then rhinoceros is, I don't know what I attribute there. I don't really have a lot of energy built up in the rhino area. I do know that they go in water, and they're very powerful. But also, I are they herbivores? I don't even know. That's bad. I should know that. I think they are. I'm getting a sense that they are, but I could be wrong. Because there's leaves in the card here as well, and the green again emphasizing the heart. I feel like going inward to our heart, because again, where did we start here? We started about letting love into our life, and a lot of people are in resistance, and a lot of trickster energies abound. And I mean, we can go in all sorts of areas to personalize it. I'm trying to detach from that, but I digress. I'm going to go and personalize it here for a bit, because they're giving me little examples of this fox energy, which is people trying to manipulate others out of their true path. So if we're talking about love, it's third parties trying to weasel people out of their best interest. I mean, that's all about jealousy usually, or trying to get someone off the path of a partnership or true love that they can see. They can even see happening, but are trying to manipulate people out of choosing the right partner, this kind of thing. I'm getting this here. And I'm also getting that highly tied to this hermit card, which is really not letting anybody outside of you pull you anywhere you do not want to go internally. So again, this may be a pause for some people just to truly decide where it is that they want to go. We may be pulled between two partners. We may be pulled between outside opinions that are different from our own, or maybe not solidifying our own opinion and following, what do you call that? You know, like other people outside of us, not ourselves, not even our own opinion. And I feel like the pause that they're talking about here and being in the moment is really about connecting to what it is we truly want and going outward and shining that light in that way. As I was saying before, there's a lot. This fall is the determiner for soulmate. It doesn't mean that if you don't get together with a soulmate by fall, it's never going to happen. It just means that by fall, there's a high frequency flux that is conducive to soulmates coming together. And outside of that window, it'll fluctuate down. It won't be as high as when the fall hits. And I feel like the Hermit for some is realization of what it is that they truly want in their life for a partner and for their life, period. Like, what do I want to make me happy outside of a partner and with a partner? Okay, so these are heavy energies. Now, I think we're going to go with some of the tarot cards. Here's some more tarot cards. I'm just going to rearrange these because my desk is getting full. Let love in. Contribute physical activity in that direction. Yeah. And then celebrate life as you do so. Expect little foxes to come and try and misshape your world. But again, if your inner core is solid, this will be unmoved. It's those that haven't decided truly what they want out of life, or what they want out of a partner, or what they want out of love. This is where people will be flown, you know, here and there, is when they don't have a solid core from this to come from. So work on that to gain that. And at this time, there's a lot of energy that could meddle in this, you know, bring about, try and take you off the path. Okay. So as we get into the next card, talking about material harvest. Okay, now we get into the work area. Oops. Sorry. Stop my music. Material. Yeah. They're going, because yeah, everything is part, right? And they're going there, the window for peace and quiet. You know, even though this is soothing music that I was guided to put, in every journey, there's a point of assessment. There's a point where we pause to make sure that we're on the right track. When we started this journey, if it's in love, right, there's a point here where we can reassess things. Okay, I was going in this trajectory. Is this making me happy at this point? No or yes? And then we can realign, right? We can choose, you know what, I don't want to go this way, I want to go that way, or whatever. There's always a point of changing the mind, right? And it's like that pause point. It's like, this is the pause point. We can connect. If what we're doing now is not creating what we want, or not creating happiness, or not fulfilling us, we can choose to go in another direction. And I feel like material harvest is, I mean, one, it's about the money. Usually, it symbolizes work and how we gain money in the field. And a lot of what I get here too is when it comes to the financial sector, we've been brainwashed to really settle for things that we do not like. And that's part of the process. And then they're going, no, it is not. The fact that we are doing something we do not enjoy, that is an imbalance. We are feeling it highly. And to push through that and expect it to be different is unreasonable. So, you know, if we're talking about career paths here, things that don't suffice. And again, they can be things where we just never liked it from the beginning. So now we realize, again, course correcting, right? We realize, you know what, this has never made me happy. This is never what I wanted to do. I did this because somebody's told me it was a smart thing to do, or that usually parents are good guiders of that. And it's only until you decide to go for what you truly want where you can be more at peace with the self, right? So the sense they're giving me here is that people, it may be a career path that needs to switch in order to make you happy. Again, it may be something we got into from the beginning. Well, you know, I'd be a doctor because my father's a doctor and they're a doctor. You know, it's in the family and it's what you got to do. But if you're not happy, it's not part of your soul path. And then there's the point where we evolve out of it. We could be in something that in the beginning it made us very happy, but we may have grown as a spiritual being to the point where we've served what we needed to serve there. So say we go along the doctor line. So yes, I've healed people and I've done what I've needed to do, and there's a yearning for more. As soon as you start to yearn for more, that's your contract saying we're up here. Our contract's up here. We need to move forward into a new area. And then suddenly maybe, you know, you don't want to be a doctor, but you want to do something else that serves your soul. Something that's deeper rooted in who you are. Or it may be an evolution of this. It may be, how you say, like a branching off of this field. So maybe you don't want to be like a heart surgeon, but maybe now you want to be like a, you know, in some other field. I'm losing cardiologist. Yeah, you don't want to be a cardiologist. Suddenly you want to work with the body and the spine and be like a not a reflexologist. What do you call that? They crack the bones. Those guys. You know, you want to veer off. That's not something that would normally happen energetically. That's the difference. But something that serves you in a different way, that is spoken to you in a different way. And again, you know, you do because your parents did it, or there's others around you more invested in it than you are, then it's time to go. And if we don't, because they're showing me that pause point, and they're like, if we don't know exactly where we want to jump off yet, then just continue to do what we know we can do, and opportunities will flow. But part of the opportunity opening up is being happy with where you're at during this transition, right? So we haven't transitioned yet, and the fact that we haven't moved to a different job or a different sector could be dissatisfying, but they're saying just simply be in the moment and be appreciative of that, and that energy field will start to open up new pathways. If we get more bogged down in the negativity of it, these doorways aren't going to open. They're just showing me these windows that are shut, you know, that we can see, but we can't get there. There's no opportunity to link it. It's the joy and the happiness in the moment that opens that door, is what they're saying. So again, and I mean, we've all been in this position where you're kind of in a place where you don't want to be, but you have to be, because you just got to wait until you find something better, or you get into a mode where things are more aligned to, yes, that's exactly what I want, or so again, that pause point, highly significant here, even in the material world. We're talking about work and jobs and such. So I'm guided to stick with this deck to pull a couple more cards around this material harvest. A lot of people focused, right, on the money. I mean, that's why, because it's being taken so highly out of balance from us. For some, others are stealing it from others. Nonetheless, try not to be negative here. And 9 is very close to 10, which is a completion cycle. And I feel like on the material planes, a lot of people are striving for success, but what is success really in that way, right? Because money, you can always have more money, right? That's what greed is all about. Okay, so I bring about movement, choices, and decisions, and also an awareness. And I do feel like no matter what plane you're focused on, so I feel like some people may be focused in love area, some may be focused in job area. No matter what, there will be movement, choices, and decisions that have to be made here. It's interesting to me. The awareness card is the number 1. The movement, choices, decision is the number 2. And then material harvest is way up on number 9 there. So way at the end of the road here. Give me a moment. I feel like this is the beginning of a new cycle that wants to start. I feel like 9 is the end of a cycle here, having to do with money. So if we're not happy, we're really seriously considering a job change or a shift in a way that will make us more happy, no matter what the wage is the sense. And then right away they jump to 1 and 2. 1 is the awareness that there's something out there, something other than where I'm at, that could make me happy. And I feel like some people are just realizing this at this time, or, you know, within this transmission. I mean, you know, we're at the end of March here. So we'll say over the month of April is when this awareness will be highly in the field. And also, for some who are progressive, we will be able to make movement and choices and decisions into these areas more smoothly, cleanly. Not only awareness of it, but able to make decisions into this field. Okay. Now they're telling me look at the bottom, and then we have partnerships and alliances. Yeah. So there may be some partnerships coming about in the job front, or how we make our money, or in ways that we could make money that is more spiritually sound, or at least more calming. You know, areas that make us feel better about our work. So again, for those that are really not happy where they're working, or their work is not fulfilling at this point, or they're coming to the end of their rope in this way, I feel like we're going to create partnerships and alliances, either to revive that in a new way, could be the same field, but we gain a partnership with someone who really overturns and makes our whole dark outlook look brighter in the field, or simply joining with someone else in some other field. Yeah. 1, 2, and 3. So that's a slow movement forward, but positive. I get very overwhelmingly positive. Okay, so this is good. Now, which cards have I not utilized? My Gaia deck. We'll get into my Gaia deck a little here. I'll pull 3 more from them. As I shuffle a bit. And then we'll close it down with a planetary card. So hopefully this helps you. And then I'm going to channel. We're not done channeling. Yeah. Yeah, that partnership, that last card they told me from under the deck, that is like high energy. There's somebody here who's going to stir up our field, really, on the work front or job front or life-changing kind of, yeah, alliance that we make here. And again, that door will be open soon, but we have to stay in a positive field here in order to get to that. Okay, so the first card we get is the Ace of Earth, which is the dragon coveting a seedling that is glowing. Yeah, it's the opportunity coming forth here. And we talk about pink and letting love in. And I feel like for some, because we're ending the reading highly in the career sector, which was interesting because I was going to bring my career cards forward and they're like, no, just bring these. And that energy came out anyway. And the fact is we could be, one of those people that's just not happy with our career. So we need to let love into our career in order to, because we want to have that in all areas, right? If we love what we do, that's half the battle, right? That's where we need to be. So the Ace of Earth is really that opening to start you down that road of being in a position where there's a lot of beginning energy. So again, if we're in a field, and we may be in a field that we enjoy, but it's no longer serving, but we may make a connection within that field that revives, opens a new door, brings about new energy that just really overturns everything that we may have been seeing as negative. So that's that beginning journey going off in that way. And then the next card we have is the Heaven and Earth card. And it speaks to connection to all things. Again, we got wolves and horses and owls and bears and unicorns. Oh my. Not unicorns, actually goats. But anyway, heaven and earth, and that's, the grand plan from above, right? They really just want to help you become the highest you. And in order for you to become the highest you have to be in the happiest vibe. And a lot of people don't have that belief system. They think life and work is a struggle and you need to do what you hate no matter just to make the money to pay the bills. And it's like, no, you don't have to do that. You can if you want, but if it does not serve you, why struggle? Why be in a place we don't want to be? Like, there's so many people I've seen in my life, just being. You go to the hospital and there's someone there that's 5 years from retirement. They're bitchy, they're mad, they're not looking after the patients anymore. They just almost don't want to be there. They're just putting in time. It's that type of energy. It's like, yeah, I don't want to be here. I'm not happy here. Then why? You're 5 years from retirement. Why are you suffering those 5 years just to move to something that you enjoy for the last 5 years? It'll revive you. It'll make you feel more youthful. It'll make you feel more revived. Like people, they just figure they can't do. So they suffer themselves, right? They sacrifice themselves for their happiness. So heaven and earth is about the plan. You got to make that plan and physically move on it in order for the universe to back you. That's what they're saying. And the next card is the Seven of Air, which speaks to, give me a moment, to connecting with the light side of things, but yet still being unclear as to what exactly that is. And I think the problem here is the translation from physical to spiritual. Because, give me a moment here. And this is on top of the awareness card. We are becoming aware of instinct and what you call, like, things on a lighter level. But because we're so ingrained, right? It's going against grain, but going against that grain would make you happy. Is what they're trying to say. Traditional ways, it may be that we're stuck in traditional ways, and getting out of that may make us the happiest we've ever been, but we're scared to do that because we know of the tried and true, which is the hard struggle. We know that we're addicted to that, or we're whatever. I don't know if the word is addicted as much as just in that rut and are unsure, right? It's always that fear of not succeeding in. So the universal energies are really trying to get you along this new path, to create these partnerships and alliances, to make these decisions and choices that will move us into greater, more profound areas of our lives. Then again, we may not see them yet. The doors may not be completely open yet, but there's opportunity there nonetheless. I feel like we're being schooled from the inside. Our instinct is speaking to us highly, but it's the unknown, right? If I quit my job and I don't have anything to go to, this isn't a sure thing. So there's a bit of a risk here, moving in this way, even if it is just spiritually. But there's also an awareness that where I'm at is not sufficing, right? So as we go backwards in these cards before I lay the planetary, we were in hermit mode. We may be in hermit mode. This transmission may put you in hermit mode in order to think things over. It's interesting the way the cards are laid here now. My hermit card is looking at the fox. So we may be distracted by things in our universe that are put there to distract us. But the number one thing that will get you there is celebrating the life that you're living and being in a good vibration while you do it. And for some, physical activity may be prominent. I feel like there's a need to take action and know when to take action and not force it on either end. Like, know when the opportunity is right to act. And I feel like this is an instinctive thing. And it will be very highly there. And again, we're highly connected. So it's going to be very obvious is the sense I get. And then we started off with pink. A pink tulip, talking about letting love in to our world in order to let that help pave the way forward. And for some, that will be the way. It will be in the love zone. For some, it's in the career sector. Either way, it's about growing and evolving in the energy that you're at. Alrighty, we're gonna shuffle the planetary cards here and see what kind of energy we end up with. So again, it's not really a reading for anyone, but it's a reading for someone. It's a reading to validate those that are feeling lost at this time. And I know I'm one of those people. I may not feel, I wouldn't at this point describe it as lost, but it's almost on pause. definitely on pause. Yeah, I'm just paused. There's nothing. I'm moving forward more than I have in my past. But it's like there's nothing really significant here, is what but I'm trying to be in my moment. I'm trying to be in the 3D. That's my struggle. So you may be on that same path as well. Maybe highly spiritual, but trying to ground out in your reality as much as you can. So this would be for you and validating for you. There's something in here. When I do readings for people, it's like, you come to the point here where you're pulling the last card. It's like, do you have any questions? It's like, no, you answered it all. Well, that's because my guides, not your guides, and they're setting everything out. And if there's anything else you wanted to know, we would answer that as well. But time and space give you the point where you can meditate or ruminate. I like that word better. Ruminate on what you've been given, and then also think about where you want to go from what you've been given. How does this change my trajectory, or does it? Or will I let it? I don't know. Okay. Sun in Sagittarius. Number 9, speaking to adventure, stride out into new territory. So that is really where the cards were headed. Yeah, it's like pointing that arrow in a new direction and just going. Set your dial to adventure and move forward. And that is really what it's all about. Yeah. The sun is full on energy. Sagittarius is the great archer, right? They are seeking. They're seeking the hunt. They go out. They explore. They're deep in the jungle. Like I'm seeing this here. Can't even. They're deep in the jungle or whatever, or in the wilds of the mountains or valleys or whatever. And they're seeking whatever it is they're hunting. And as they move forward in that, all of their senses are on. It's interesting. They're like, no cards, no nothing. We just want your vocals. Just connect with people so that they can focus 100% on the word of what you're saying. They didn't want no distractions visually. We got a little music because when I was pre-shuffling the cards, the music card fell out, and they're like, yes, we would prefer some kind of music. This is music, but it's not what I consider music. It's more like ambient, right, stuff. But they were in favor of that. I think, one, to relax me. To get me to slow my diction down, right? Because I get to talking real fast, doing things real fast, like it's just fast. One is because I get so much stuff downloaded so quickly, I don't want to forget any of it or set any of it aside, so I try and spit it out as quickly as I can. And then secondly is just the translation factor. Again, it's going to be set aside if I can't find words to put to it. So you want it to go outward as much as possible, as much as you get. So seeking new adventures, whether it's in love, career, whatnot, and they want them to be soulful adventures, not soulless, right? They want it to feed the soul, not drain it. And I know for me, I'm working on boundaries at this time and making sure that all that comes forth is stuff that is deserved. Meaning, if you're coming in my field, like, you deserve to be in my field, and I do not take in things that no longer serve. And I don't mean you serve me. I mean, at my frequency, no longer will I bend down to bring people up. That can sound very selfish, and to a certain degree it is. It is for my own healing. After I heal, I feel that I can better utilize that in a less negative way, but nonetheless, we're all on our journey here, our own personal adventure, and whether it's career, love, or just life in general, new adventures are what it's about, and doors will be opening soon, and it's all about setting your frequency, and part of that has to do with being happy in the moment on all levels, not faking happy, but truly from your heart happy, from your high heart happy. That's really what I get from that first card about letting love in is, yeah, because they had told me very early on in my own journey, we have to be able to give love, but we also have to be able to accept it. And what you learn as you go along is like it's easy to accept it from those that aren't deserving as well. And that can throw monkey wrenches. Like, I wasn't really accepting love. I was accepting people and their behavior. And the more that I learned to gain an equal balance, now it's just a matter of standing up. I don't know. I still have to go through a lot of that stuff on my own. But, you know, for me at this time is boundary keeping and making sure that I keep those that want to take too much from me away, and those that are willing to give to me, then you may come forth. Because I will give in equal balance, but not to those that do not deserve it. And that's the journey that I'm on, no matter what. Like, and that transfers to career as well. There's certain areas that are easier to create boundaries and certain areas that are very hard. So I guess each person to their own individual path will find out, you know, where that sits for them. But it's all about the adventure and letting love in, and the changes and the awareness of these changes in the future that will help you out. And no matter how stagnant you feel at this point, you know, rest in peace that there will be openings coming shortly. I don't like those words, shortly or soon or just around the corner, but that's the sense they're giving me, because some people are really fed up and lost and frustrated and whatnot, and this is the sense that they're giving me. It is for those people that are doing in that energy. There's adventure coming. There's opportunities for such. You could pass them by. That is up to you. But there are opportunities coming in the future, and they will bring about changes and decisions and movement that is for our highest good, and part of that has to do with letting love in. So hopefully that helps you in some kind of way. Celebrate the life you're living at this time to help you stay in the vibration that you need to open new doors and create new life and adventure. And let the energies be with you. God be with you. Whoever it is that you trust in as you move forward. So take care, have fun, and be kind, and hopefully this helped in some way.